वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायण नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जायमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताक्षं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत श्री राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 8, Lord Krishna shows the universal form, text number 13. Asan varnastrayo hi asya Vranto anyo yugam tanuho शुक्लरक्तस्तथा पीता इदानीं कृष्णतां गतः आसन् वर्णास्त्रयो हि यस्य गृह्णन्तो न्यूयुगं तनुः शुक्लरक्तस्तथा पीता इदानीं कृष्णतां गतः आसन् वर्णास्त्रयो हि यस्य गृह्णन्तो न्यूयुगं तनुः शुक्लरक्तस्तथा पीता इदानीं कृष्णतां गतः Mataji. Asan were assumed. Varnaha trayaha, three colors. He, indeed, asya, of your son Krishna. Grantaha, accepting. Aniyugam, tanuhu. Transcendental bodies according to different yugas. Shuklaha, sometimes white. Raktaha, sometimes red. Tatha, as well as. Pitaha, sometimes yellow. Idanim Krishnatam Gataha. At the present moment, he has assumed a blackish color. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Your son Krishna appears as an incarnation in every millennium. In the past, he assumed three different colors: white, red, and yellow. And now he has appeared in a blackish color. In another Dwapara Yuga, he appeared as Lord Ramchandra in the color of Sukha or parrot. As such, all such incarnations have now assembled in Krishna. Purport: partially explaining the position of Lord Krishna and partially covering the facts Gargamuni indicated. Your son is a great personality and he can change the color of his body in different ages. The word Granantaha indicates that Krishna is free to make his choice. In other words, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and may therefore do whatever he desires. In the Vedic literature, the different colors assumed by the Personality of Godhead in different millenniums are stated. And therefore, when Gargamuni said, "Your son has assumed these colors," he indirectly said he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because of Kamsa's atrocities, Gargamuni tried to avoid disclosing this fact. But he indirectly informed Nanda Maharaj that Krishna, his son, was the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It may be noted that Srila Jiva Goswami in his book Krama Sandharva has enunciated the purport of this verse. In every millennium, Krishna appears in a different form, either as white, red or yellow, but this time he personally appeared in his original blackish form and, as predicted by Gargamuni, exhibited the power of Narayan. Because in this form the Supreme Personality of Godhead exhibits himself fully, his name is Sri Krishna, the all-attractive. Factually, Krishna is the source of all avatars, and therefore all the different features of the different avatars are present in Krishna. When Krishna incarnates, all the features of all incarnations are already present within him. Other incarnations are partial representations of Krishna, who is the full-fledged incarnation of the Supreme Being. It is to be understood that the Supreme Being, whether he appears as Shukla, Rakta or Pita, white, red or yellow, is the same person. When he appears in different incarnations, he appears in different colors, just like the sunshine, which contains 7 colors. Sometimes the color of sunshine are represented separately. Otherwise, the sunshine is observed mainly as bright light. The different avatars, such as Manavantar avatars, Lila avatars and Das avatars, are all included in the Krishna avatar. When Krishna appears, all the avatars appear with him, as described in Srimad Bhagavatam. Avatarahi asankhya hare sattva nidhar divijaha yatha vidasinah kulyaha sarasaha suyuhu sahasrasaha. The avatars incessantly appear like incessant flowing water. No one can count how many waves there are in flowing water. And similarly, there is no limitation of the avatars. And Krishna is the full representation of all avatars because he is the source of all avatars. Krishna is Amsi, whereas others are Amsa, part of Krishna. All living entities, including us, are Amsas. Mamaiva Amsa Jivaloke Jivabhuta Sanatanaha. These Amsas are of different magnitude. Human beings, who are minute Amsas, and the demigods, Vishnu Tattva and all other living beings are part of the Supreme. Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetanam. Krishna is the full representation of all living entities. And when Krishna is present, all avatars are included in him. The 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam describes the incarnations of each yuga in chronological order. The Bhagavatam says, Krite Shuklas Chaturbahu Tretayam Rakto Varnasto Dwapare Bhagavan Syamaha and Krishna Varnam Tusha Krishnam. We actually see that in Kali Yuga, Bhagavan has appeared in the Pita Varna or yellow color as Gaur Sundar. Although the Bhagavatam speaks of Krishna Varnam, to adjust all these statements, one should understand that although in some yugas, some of the colors are prominent, in every yuga, whenever Krishna appears, all the colors are present. Krishna Varnam Tusha Krishnam, although Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appears without Krishna or blackish color, he is understood to be Krishna himself. Idanim Krishnatam Gataha. The same original Krishna who appears in different varnas have now appeared. The word asan indicates that he is always present. Whenever the Supreme Personality of Godhead appears in his full feature, he is understood to be Krishna Varnam, although he appears in different colors. Prahlad Maharaj states that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Channa, that although he is Krishna, he is covered by a yellow color. Thus, the Gaudiya Vaishnavas accept the conclusion that although Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in Pita color, he is Krishna. Krishna Varnam Tisa Krishnam Sangha Pangostra Parshadam Yagyahi Sankirtana Prayer Yajantihi Sumedhasa. Srila Prabhupada ki. Hare Krishna. With blessings of all assembled Vaishnavas, senior devotees, I'd like to present this class. Today is a very significant verse, although I am not the right person to do the justice to such a beautiful verse. but somehow I am sitting here trying to just repeat the purports of Srila Prabhupada. This is the chapter is basically Lord Krishna shows the universal form, but in the beginning it is explained how Garga Muni visits the house of Nanda Maharaj, and there the name giving ceremony is happening. It's like it's supposed to be a festival, like Nityananda Prabhu was speaking very nicely, saying in India all the ceremonies are done with a lot of pomp and kind of, nowadays they have lost the spirit, but that pomp and those things, pompous ceremonies are happening without the spirit. But here the ceremony is the most important aspect. Therefore, although there is not a big ceremony as such, like a pompous ceremony, but Nanda Maharaj is insisting that Garg Muni should conduct this ceremony, whether there is a celebration or not. The ceremony itself is a celebration. And he takes him very secretly to the cow shed, where he wants him to utter the names of these two wonderful sons, that is Balaram and Krishna. And it is secretly done. Some devotee was saying it was so secret. Nanda Maharaj said, nobody will be there, just you and me and these two boys. None of my relatives, that includes the ladies, because they immediately spread the word. So no ladies, not even cows, just you and us in the cow shed. Maybe some say these are two boys, they are very innocent, they don't know what is happening, so they won't take it seriously, and in this way nobody will know. And the ceremony takes place finally, and Garga Muni, although he was very eager to do it, but he was little scared, afraid of Kamsa's atrocities. Prabhupada also says, in this particular verse, he reveals Krishna's identity partially and partially covers it also, because of his fear that Kamsa may come to know and his atrocities will increase. So these great leaders, we can see, they are always careful in their dealings, because we may say, well, Krishna is Supreme Lord, what is the problem? He knows he is Supreme Lord, so let us declare it boldly. But then such things may inspire Kamsa to increase his atrocities in general population, unnecessarily kill more and more people, which no sadhu wants. Therefore, he was afraid. Otherwise, he knows Krishna is going to kill him. He knows the entire, like Prabhupada says, Garga Muni is such a great personality. He knew the past, he knew the present, and he knew the future also. That was his status. He knew what is exactly going to happen. But still, he would not speak something which will create problem in the society. And therefore, he was scared. But at the same time, in this particular verse is revealing Krishna's identity. And the previous verse, he revealed Lord Balaram's identity. Yesterday, Subhalas Prabhu spoke very nicely, saying how Balaram actually is going to unite two families of Vasudeva and Nanda Maharaj. And that uniting factor is very, very significant in a spiritual society, that how Guru actually brings disciples to Krishna and brings everyone together to Krishna. That is the uniting factor. And also he was correlating that to Hanumanji, saying how Hanumanji brought Ram and Sita together. He brought Shugriv and Ram together. He brought Bharatji and Ram together. Like that he was uniting Hanumanji as a guru, representing as a guru. So similarly, Balaramji, who is the original spiritual master, he always tries to bring all the living entities close to Krishna, always remaining in the background himself. And we know certain aspect I just want to speak before we embark on this particular verse, is that same Balaram appears as Nityananda Prabhu in this age, Kali Yuga. And it is explained by our acharyas that without his mercy, we cannot understand God, Krishna, or our relationship with him. So we are about to understand who is Krishna in this particular verse, but without Nityananda Prabhu's mercy it is difficult, it is explained. His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj was speaking on this particular aspect, and he was saying that how Raghunath Das Goswami, who is actually previous to, before he became a Goswami, when he was a householder, he was very much attracted to the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Very much attracted to the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was not attached to his wealth. He had wealth more than Indra, it is explained. Lot of wealth. But then he was unable to get Mahaprabhu's lotus. He was trying to escape from his household life, from family, from all this entanglement, but he was failing again and again. So one day Nityananda Prabhu was there near his house, near his village, Saptagram, close by, near Panihati. Nityananda Prabhu was there with his associates. So he goes to meet him. If not Mahaprabhu, let us, Nityananda Prabhu is here, let us go and meet him. So he goes and pays his obeisance from a distance. From a distance, out of humility, whatever it is, he was paying his obeisance from a distance. Then suddenly Nityananda Prabhu's associates recognized him, because he was a very known person in social circles. So they said, Nityananda Prabhu, here is Raghunath, who is paying his obeisances to you. So Nityananda Prabhu saw him, he said, oh, finally the thief has come. He said like that. So when I heard about that, I was always wondering why he is saying thief, because he is paying his obeisance from a distance, from a corner, not coming in front. Sometimes when we do something wrong, we keep distance from our authorities, We keep distance, we don't come close. Dur se dandut. So is he doing something like that? But what is his fault? I was thinking. Then Nityananda Prabhu brings him nearby, places his lotus feet on his heads. I will punish you. So as a part of punishment, you have to feed dahi chuda to all my associates. So Radha Swami says, that's not big deal. So he not only feeds his associates, he feeds entire people of the entire village. Everyone was it. He fed everyone. But then Bhakti Charu Maharaj was explaining why he called him thief. He said, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is actually property of Nityananda Prabhu. In the sense, like our Radhanath Swami Maharaj, he was explaining during our Gaur Purnima time, he was saying, Nityananda Prabhu is the personality to whom Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually told to go and preach. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came in the mood of Srimati Radharani. That mood was to compassion mood, to help conditioned living entities to come back to Krishna's lotus feet. And that mood he entrusted to Nityananda Prabhu, saying, you go and preach and bring them. So therefore that mercy he was carrying, and that was under his possession. So he was saying, the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was property of Nityananda Prabhu. So if somebody is trying to achieve Chaitanya Mahaprabhu without Nityananda Prabhu's blessings or permission, then that is theft. That means suppose I have or I don't, somebody else has a car and I try to take the car without his permission, it is an act of thievery, isn't it? It's an act of theft. So he was saying, you are trying to go to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, trying to achieve Mahaprabhu's lotus feet without my blessings, therefore you are trying to steal, therefore you are a thief. Although he was unsuccessful, still the act itself is thievery. So therefore he says, Narottam Das Thakur says, Gheno nitai vinenai Radha Krishna paitenai. One cannot achieve Radha Krishna without Nityananda Prabhu's blessings. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is combined form of Radha Krishna. So therefore, anyone trying to attain Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lotus feet without Nityananda Prabhu's blessings is actually a thief. So therefore, one's primary duty is to approach this Lord Balram, who is the original Guru. Without his blessings, if we try to understand who is Krishna, what is Krishna, and what is our relationship with him, this will be futile actually. We will not be able to successful. So understanding this, so Gargamuni also introduces first Baldev, then he is introducing Krishna. And in many verses he is explaining. So this is the first one where Prabhupada says he is explaining it partially, disclosing and partially covering, not speaking fully. This is asan varnas trayo yasya. So this Krishna, this son of yours, varnas trayo yasya, he had three different colors in three different yogas. Grunatam yugam tanuhu. Tanuhu means body. So different color of the body he takes up. It's not that he is given, he takes up himself. He accepts in three different yogas. And what are those colors? Shukla, Raktas, Tatha, Pita. So Shukla means white, Raktas means red, and Pita means yellow. And the same person, Idanim Krishnatam Gataha. But in this time he has accepted blackish color. He has taken up this black color. And Prabhupada very extensively quotes Jiva Goswami, Sripad Jiva Goswami, and he says how Krishna is the actually Supreme Personality of Godhead, original personality having this blackish color, and he appears in different ages, takes up different color. So, and Srila Prabhupada, of course, takes this verse to explain Srila Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance, how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is actually Krishna. And all our Gaudiya Vaishnavas takes this verse as an evidence that how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we'll try to, it is explained in this purport that how in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, this different color and different incarnations are explained. So we'll just try to understand these things in a more elaborate way, going to 11th canto basically. That is the whole plan of this class. So we just saw how Radhanath Swami, although he is very wealthy, he could not purchase the wealth that is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Unless we have the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, it is not possible. So in this way, we will just try to understand these particular aspects of Srimad Bhagavatam. In the 11th canto, these things are explained actually. So in this particular section of Srimad Bhagavatam, King Nimi is inquiring from the Avadut Brahman. What's his name? Avadut, no? Navayagandra Yogis, sorry, Navayagandras. And Navayagandra, they are answering his questions. So the King Nimi is actually asking, Kasmin Kalesa Bhagavan Kim Barnaha Kidrisho Nibrihi Namna Va Kena Vidhana Pujyate Tad Ihochatam. So this is a very nice question where he is saying, in what colors and forms does the Supreme Personality of Godhead appear in each of different ages? Straight questions. What are the colors, what are the names, and what are the forms? Kim Barna, that is color. Kim Namna, what are the names? And Kidrisho, what form? And Yuga Yuga, on which all the ages. So Krishna explains actually in Bhagavad Gita that I appear in every millennium. Yada Aya Dharmasya Glanirvati Bharata Yabhitanama Dharmasya Tatmanu Sajamaham Paritrana Sadhana Vinasya Duskritam Dhanma Sangsthapanartaya Sambhavami Yuga Yuga. So sometimes Krishna is explained as three yogi, like we know famous conversation Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Gopinath Acharya, that how Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya refuses Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Supreme Lord by saying that he is three yogi. He appears in three ages, not in Kali Yuga. So, but Krishna says in Gita, I appear in every millennium, Yuga Yuga. He is not saying Sambhavami Tri Yuga. He is saying Sambhavami Yuga Yuga, every ages. And here the question is also, what are the incarnations in different ages? What are the colors? What are the forms? What are the, in which way people worship? Pujyate tad Ichchayatam, that I wish to know in what way all these forms are worshipped in different ages. So the question is full, complete. And the answers came that Krite Shlukas Chaturbahur. In Krite means Satyug, he appears in Shukla color, white color. So the Gargamuni, whatever he said, it is explained again here, confirmed that he comes in white color in Satyug. Chaturbahur, he has 4 arms. Jatilo Valkama Varaha, that means he has matted lock hairs. He comes as a brahmachari basically, with white, pure white color. That is, we can say mode of goodness, but transcendental, whitish color, with matted locked hair. Because of brahmacharya, he is living like a rishi, matted hair, and wearing blackish deer skin and tree bark. And he says, wears a garment of tree bark, and he carries a black deer skin, a sacred thread, prayer beads, and the rod and water pot as a brahmachari. In this way the Lord appears. And in Satyayoga, how people worship him? He says, in Satyayoga, people in Satyayoga are peaceful. The qualities he is explaining, the people of Satyayoga, they are very peaceful, non-envious, friendly to all creatures, and steady in all situations. They worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead by austere meditation and by internal and external sense control. So this is very interesting because for meditation certain qualifications are required. And in Satyayoga, all these qualifications are actually there within the people. They are peaceful, they are non-envious. So this is very difficult nowadays, being non-envious. And being peaceful is difficult without being non-envious. And they are friendly to all living entities. That means they are all vegetarians those days. They would not kill. Very austere. That means they would just eat some fruits that falls from the tree or some leaves that drops from the tree. They would eat. That's all. They don't even, probably they would not eat grains and all those things. Very austere and friendly and steady in all situations. Steady. Sometimes something happens, we get very disturbed. In Kali Yuga especially. There was one terrorist attack in Mumbai. I remember the entire, for weeks together, people in local trains would not converse. They're all silent. I have observed that. They're so scared, they're so shocked, they're not able to speak to each other. In local train was silent for many, many days. So we get easily disturbed in difficult situations. So their steady means they will not be disturbed, no matter what happens. Steady. So therefore, because seeing those qualities, the Lord appears in a form to teach them a system which they can adopt and achieve Him. So not only that, it says there, Samainacha Damainacha, that Yajanti Tapasa Devam Samainacha Damainacha, that they were Sama, steady, and Dama, sense control. So there are two things. We also come across these particular words, Sama and Dama in Bhagavad Gita, that how the Brahmanas has these qualities, Sama and Dama. So Prabhupada says Sama refers to internal control, whereas Dama refers to external control. Dama means controlling senses. Our external sense objects should not be affecting the senses. And Sama means within the mind must be controlled. Because their minds of those people are controlled, their senses are completely controlled. Therefore, they are able to meditate. And in this way, they will be able to achieve the Supreme Lord. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says 4 types of people approach him. Chaturvarna Maya Srishtam, actually, what is that? Chaturvida Bhajante Mam, Jana Sukritina Arjuna, Artha Jigyansi Artharthi, Gyanicha Bhartar Sarva. So this refers to this particular age, Gyanis, those who are all having these qualities, they could meditate. And they worship the Lord as this supreme brahmachari who appeared in that particular form. Whereas in Treta Yoga it is said, Tretayam Rakta Varnoso Chaturbaho Sri Mekhalaha Hiranya Klesha Tvaya Atmaha Suk Survadi Upalakshanta. That means in Treta Yuga the Lord appears with red complexion. He has 4 arms, golden hair, and wears a triple belt representing the initiation into each of the 3 Vedas. Embodying the knowledge of worship by sacrificial performance, which is contained in the Rig, Sama, and Yajur Vedas, his symbols are the ladle, spoon, and other implements of sacrifice. So, in the Treta Yuga, he appeared as in reddish color. So, I was thinking what that color would look like. Sometimes see some European people are very reddish. Krishna comes as black, the Africans are also black. Mahaprabhu comes as yellow, there are some Asians are yellow in color. So these things are there in a very, without any transcendental attributes. These colored people are there. But when Lord appears in reddish color, he must be very extremely beautiful with golden hair. Some Europeans also have golden hair. Must be very beautiful color, but with 4 arms and golden hair, was a triple belt representing 3 Vedas. And he was carrying a spoon to offer, arghya or this ghee into the sacrifice, into the fire. And all this paraphernalia appears to teach what? To teach the process of yajna. And because it is explained that Supreme Lord has all the demigods within his body, so therefore all these Vedas sacrifices actually was to achieve the Supreme Lord through sacrifices. Of course, the 3 Vedas teaches us karma kanda, that is these sacrifices, 3 Veda. So when I was saying this these 4 types of people who approach Krishna, Artha, Jigyansu, Artharthi, Jnanicha. So Jnani is referred to Satyug type people, and this Artharthi is actually Treta Yuga type, who's kind of followed karma kandi type of sacrifices. But at that time, the Lord proposed that so that they can achieve Him through that activities. But now, people do all this kind of thing. In Kali Yuga, people do all these things, but without understanding the purpose, because the Lord didn't. What He taught in that age is actually lost. It was meant for that age. And in Dwapara Yuga, it is explained. As in Treta Yuga, those members of human society who are fixed in religiosity, dharma, and are sincerely interested in achieving absolute truth and worship Lord Hari. So, in Treta Yuga, people basically worship the Lord by the names Vishnu, Yajna, Prishnigarbha, like that. Whereas in Dwapara Yuga, it is explained, the Supreme Personality of Godhead appears in a dark blue complexion, wearing yellow garments. That is Krishna. The Lord's transcendental body is marked with incarnations, with Srivastha and other distinctive ornaments, and he manifests his personal weapons, that is Sudarshan Chakra. So, in this way he explains, in Dwapara Yuga, men who desire to know the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the Supreme Messenger, worship him in the mood of honoring a great king. It is explained how Lord Krishna is actually worshipped as a king of all kings in this that yajna Yudhishthira Maharaj conducted, Rajashoya Yajna. In Rajashoya Yajna, Krishna was established as king of all kings. So in Dwapara Yuga, he is actually worshipped as a big king. And in Dwapara Yuga, what is the qualities of people? In Satya Yuga, they have all this self-control, mind control, and friendly, all these peaceful, non-envious, all these qualities were there in the people. Whereas in Treta Yuga, they were little less. The karma kandi type of things crept in, but then the Lord worshipped them, taught them how to do yajna, sacrifices through which they could achieve Him. Whereas in Treta Yuga, they were simply inquisitive to know. It is explained. They were in Dwapara Yuga, men who desire to know, inquisitive, they worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the Supreme Messenger as the King of all kings, following these perceptions of the Vedas and Tantras. So that's how Treta Yuga people worshipped the Supreme Lord and achieved Him in that way. So therefore, the Artha, Jigyansu, Artharthi, Jnani. So sometimes Artharthi, some Acharya explain that why Artho, Jigyansu, Artharthi. So Jigyansu comes before, after or before Artharthi. So Artharthi is a little, lower than Jigyansu. One is looking for fruits, money. How can he be placed higher than Jigyansu? Jigyansu is inquisitive. But here it is explained that in Treta Yoga, all the Prabhupada explains in the purport, in Treta Yoga, they are Artharthi kind of doing sacrifices following the Vedas, three Vedas, which is Karmakandi, but they are better than people of Dwapar Yuga who are simply inquisitive, that's all. Inquisitive to know, that's all. Not trying to achieve. But the Lord comes and then He explains that how those who desire to know, then He comes as a king and they worship Him as in the form of that king, and in this way they achieve Him. It is explained like that. So that is the Jigyansus are little inferior than Artharthi. And of course what remains is Kali Yuga, Artha. So in Kali Yuga, all these qualities are not prominent, although it may be there to some extent, but it is not prominent. Prominent is that distress. So those who are in distress, they come to Krishna in this says. And therefore, he explains, Iti Dwapare Urva Isa Stuvanti Jagadeshwaram Nanatantra Vidhanena Kalau Api Tathasrunu. He says, in this way, Dwapara Yuga, they worship the Lord as king and achieve Him. And then he says, Nana Tantra Vidhanena Kalau Api. And even in Kali, as of Kali, people will worship the Supreme Lord. It's not that Supreme Lord is not going to be worshipped. So normally it is accepted, okay, now everything is over, what remains? No qualities remains, who's going to worship in Kali Yuga? But he says, no, in Kali Yuga also people who is going to worship the Supreme Lord. Kalau Api Tatha Srunu, now here, he is saying. O King, in this way, people in Dwapar Yuga glorified the Lord of the universe. In Kali Yuga also, people worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead by following various regulations of the revealed scriptures. Now currently here. So two things. They understand the Supreme Lord by following various scriptures. There is no direct, the Lord directly doesn't proclaim that He is the Lord. So only through following scriptures, we'll be able to understand who is the Supreme Lord in this age. And in this way, we'll be able to understand who is the Supreme Lord for Kali Yuga. And then he speaks this famous verse. Krishna Varnam Tisa Krishnam Sangopangastra Parshadam Yagyahi Sankirtana Prayer Yajatihi Sumedhasa. Then again here also he doesn't say directly. He says in white color, he explains. Then he says red color. Then he says black color. But in this verse he doesn't speak about color. In fact, he speaks a little confusing. Krishna Varnam. Although it is explained yellow color is there, but yellow color doesn't appear in this verse. So Acharya explains in different ways this verse. Krishna Varnam Tisa Krishnam. Although he belongs to Krishna category, Krishna Varnam. There is a Chatur Varnam. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Varna. But this, he is not this four Varnas, he is Krishna Varna. This I heard from some devotee. Very nice. Vishnu Tattva, or something like that. Krishna Varnam. And Srila Prabhupada explains, quoting various Goswamis, he is saying Krishna Varna means he is always describing Krishna. Varna means also Akshar, the letters. Varna. So Krishna, these two Varnas are always in his mouth. And also Varnati means describing. He always describes about Krishna, this particular incarnation. He describes about Krishna all the time. Krishna Varnam. But his bodily color is not blackish. Tusha Akrishna. His bodily color is not blackish. He is not saying yellow. He is keeping it a secret. Then he says, Yagyahi Sankirtana Prayer. That, how do you know the next quality? That prayer means mostly. So in this age of Kali, the best way to worship Him is through Sankirtana Yagya. Not other process, not meditations, not sacrifices, yajnas, or not even being inquisitive. That is not the prayer. That is not the best feature. The best feature is what? Prominent feature, prior means prominent. Prominent feature is what? Yajna is Sankirtana. Sankirtana Yajna, the chanting of the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Yajanti hi sumedasa. Those who are endowed with good intelligence, nice intelligence, they will worship this particular form of the Lord who appears in Kali Yuga. So, Prabhupada says, in this age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead of Kali Yuga, who constantly sings the names of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons and confidential companions. So, I'll just read the various purports Prabhupada explains in Chaitanya Charitamrita to this verse and we'll end the class. So, the three colors he explains. What is the remaining color? Remaining color is yellow. So, therefore, he explained three colors, three incarnations. Now, this incarnation has to be yellow. What is the remaining color is yellow, although he doesn't speak. So, although it is Tusha Akrishna, it is not black, is the, what is it? It is yellowish. That's how Jiva Goswami explains. Jiva Goswami has explained this verse in the commentary in the Bhagavatam, known as Krama Sandharva, wherein he says that Lord Krishna also appears in golden complexion. That golden Lord Krishna is Lord Chaitanya, who is worshipped by intelligent men in this age. This is confirmed by Garga Muni also, because he says white, red, yellow, other than black. These three colors are there. So although he says he appeared in different ages, actually Garga Muni using past tense. But understand the cycles are, it's a cycle, there is no present and past. In a circle, you don't know where it begins and where it ends. It's just a cycle, you know. So, he is going to appear in yellow in this age, and every Kali Yuga appears in yellow. So, therefore, it could be past, it could be future also. A tense is actually invalid, redundant in that sense. So, Jiva Goswami says, he appears in this golden form in Kali Yuga. So, in the three different colors, he exhibited three colors, but the remaining color, that is yellow, gold, until he appeared as Lord Chaitanya, who is known as Gaurahari. In this way, it is explained that how this incarnation is actually referring to yellow color. Then he describes Krishna's name, Krishna Varnam. Therefore, we can understand Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is that person because he always described Krishna. Always chant holy names, always worship holy names, always speaks his message, that is his instruction to all the living entities. And what is his weapon? Sango, Upanga, Astra. He has three things. He has his Sangha, his associates, Upanga, his limbs or his servitors, and then his Astra. So Krishna was carrying chakra, but what is Mahaprabhu's weapon? And then Goswami explains, Jiva Goswami explains that his beauty is his weapon. He says, Sangha Pangastar Parsadam further indicates that Lord Chaitanya is Lord Krishna because his body is always decorated with ornaments of sandalwood and the sandalwood paste. By his super excellent beauty, he subdues all people of the age. So because of his supreme beauty, he subdues all the enemies within the conditioned living entities. In the Satya people didn't have this envy and all these things. They are pure, clean. But in Kali Yuga, all these enemies are there within people. So by Mahaprabhu, by his exhibition of his super excellent beauty, he subdues, he kills all these anarthas in the heart of the people, and thus he attracts. Srila Jiva Goswami explains that his beauty is his astra or weapon to subdue the demons within the heart of the conditioned entities. Because he is all attractive, it is to be understood that all the demigods lived within him as his companies. His acts are uncommon and his associates are wonderful. When he propagated the Sankirtan movement, he attracted many great scholars and acharyas, especially in Bengal and Orissa. Lord Chaitanya is always accompanied by his best associates like Lord Nityananda, Advaita, Gadadhar and Srivas. So in this way, how this Sangopangastra Parshadam is explained. Then another aspect is, it is explained that Krishna name is prominent. Krishna Barnam Tusa Akrishna. So Krishna, Krishna comes twice, again and again in that verse. Therefore, it is said, he was always chanting Krishna's name. Krishna, Krishna, that is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's what is another feature, is always chanting Krishna. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So this, he says, to propagate worship in churches, temples or mosques is not possible because people have lost interest in that. Therefore, just go out, chant Hare Krishna. But anywhere and everywhere people can chant Hare Krishna. Thus, worshipping Lord Chaitanya, they can perform the highest activity and fulfill the highest religious purpose of satisfying the Supreme Lord. So in this way, this verse explains. And another aspect is, also in Srimad Bhagavatam, Prahlad Maharaj explains that how Mahaprabhu's incarnation is Channa. It says, Ithamru Triyag Rishi Deva Jaha Jasavatarer Lokan Vivayasi Hamsi Jagat Pratipan Dharma Mahapurusha Pasi Yuganuvartas Channa Kalau Yad Bhavas Triyugatha Sattvam. He says, although you are Triyuga, you have different colors in different ages, but in Kali Yuga you especially appear in a hidden way. Channa Kalau Yad Abhavas Triyuga. Although you are Triyugis, but in Kali Yuga appeared in a secret, in a covered way. So in this way we see how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is actually the Supreme Lord who appears in Kali Yuga. Now in different ages the Lord appears, but we see it is difficult for people to recognize him as the ages rolled by. Especially we can see in Satya Yuga, of course, they followed instructions, meditated and achieved. And in Treta Yuga, through sacrifices somewhat, they were successful. But in Dwapar Yuga, it's difficult to appreciate Krishna. Many people fail to appreciate Krishna. Even Treta Yuga, Ravana failed to appreciate Lord Ram as the Supreme. So while the Lord was there actually in that particular age, taught the Yuga Dharma, people were not able to accept and they failed. Many instances. So in Kali Yuga also, although the Lord appears and teaches the principles, while living in this time and age, we should understand that if we reject it, then we lose. So particular age and particular time, particular thing is taught, and that is applicable in particular time and place, circumstances. So in this age, if we waste time doing meditations and sacrifices and all those things which are not taught by the Lord for this age, then it is a waste of time. And more importantly, that we should understand that how it's the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who is the actually Supreme Lord of the Kali Yuga. He is the Supreme Lord of this age. So instead of going here and there, if we simply just accept him, his lotus feet as our whole and soul, and accept his instructions in our life, then life will be successful. And in this way, we can actually perfect. While even living in Kali Yuga, there is no scope, no hope. Even King Nimi was not expecting Kali Yuga somebody will be worshipping. He says, Kalau also, wait a minute, Kalau also, there is a hope, there is a scope. Lord appears. And Yuga Yuga, every age he appears. And that is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Srila Prabhupada ki. Sorry, I just overshoot the time. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki. Samad Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki. Jai Gaur Premanande.